just gonna try it. We'll see how this goes. All right, cool. We're up. We're live with people here.
Oh, you got like a whole little setup going
Dude,
now.
it's crazy.
It's
I know,
adorable.
right? You're driving?
Everybody.
Why are you driving and listening, Julie? I don't know if that's safe. Don't look, though. Don't look.
Don't look.
At least.
Jesus. Stay safe, everybody. Stay safe, everybody.
What's up, Land? What's up, Ulf? Yeah, man. So in Muay Thai, my buddy's telling me that one of the reasons you see them eating all those kicks and stuff is because, like, your ability to stand there and take it is scored, and also it's your ability to move the person. So if you just tap someone and don't move them, it doesn't matter. So, like...
Well, I mean, because in Muay Thai, a big part of the culture of Muay Thai is like stoicism.
Yeah.
Right. So, and in Thailand, that's a big part of Thai culture, which I learned from my ex, who was like a big, fan of flying to Thailand to train in Muay Thai and stuff.
Dude, I want to fly to Thailand. Dude, that sounds amazing.
Me too. It sounds amazing. But so it's like the culture of Thailand is everybody's always happy. Right. So it's like you don't externalize those negative emotions.
Wow.
So I think it has to do with that part, like that part of the culture as well. Like, you're in a tough situation, you're not going to externalize, right? And your ability in Muay Thai, your ability to maintain your balance is important, because there's like a beauty to Muay Thai that's important to them. Right. So it's like the purity of your technique and your ability to stand in the face of, like, like if you check a kick and you land off balance, like, you fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
You fucked up hard.
Exactly. Like, blocking doesn't matter if you get moved.
It's like you gotta be like boop and not move.
Yeah, which is why, like, you were saying, so, like, that your Muay Thai friend is like, yeah, I would only block here, because he's like, it doesn't really matter whether you get the block or not in his head, but in a sword fight, in the way our sport is scored, and also in a real sword fight, getting the block is fucking huge.
Well, in our sport in particular, like, I'm not so it's like I need you to provide me with like a document for the night fight rules and like how
I have provided to you twice. What's up, Chris? How's it going?
I can't find it. All
right, I'll send it to you again. Send it to you again. I'm probably gonna write up a separate set of rules, because we're adding crown fighting. So like I think we're gonna basically be coming up with an entirely new set of rules.
Well, it's like, my question is, like, how are shots counted, right? Because it's like the argument of being in this position, right? Of strapping. So let's say I'm strapped, okay?
You're not strapped. You live in Canada. You guys can't have guns.
I meant like that. That's the most strapped I can be. But like, so the argument for like being strapped is like, let's say I can, like, if we're not counting partial shots, right? If like a partial block doesn't count, then this becomes a lot stronger, right? Because you just need micro movements in order to foul shots. Whereas if you are counting partial blocks, or like it's all about like how you get through a block and shit, I would wager that the sword becomes a lot more relevant in terms of point scoring, and then this becomes a better orientation for your shield. But like if you're not strapped, the advantage is you can flip.
Yes.
Back and forth.
Exactly.
So it's like I could be like,
it's way more flexible.
Bop, 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 bop. And then it's like, oh, I'm going to go in and punch, but bam. And it's like, it's not like a big switch, especially for me because of, the round shields. I'm used to center grip.
Land, I'll definitely send that to you I'll send you the base one, which I also think I've sent to you. But I'll send it to you again. And when I write up the specific rules for this, I'll send that to you. But yeah, no, so like, The advantage of the strapped is that when you punch, it's way less likely to kind of roll, and it's going to be a little bit more powerful, but it's a little bit more powerful. So like that matters in melees, where your power is basically all that matters.
Yeah, and the displacement too. Because
exactly.
When you push, you have your whole arm behind it, right? And there's no opportunity for it to deviate or like because of your wrist. It's just like it's like an extension of your arm. So it's just boop.
Right.
But and you could argue that it's better for grappling too, because it comes in profile. So if you want to throw under the arm to like get an underhook, you're gonna have an easier time when it's strapped, because it won't more easily get caught. But for sword fighting, I think it's worse.
I agree in general for sword fighting. In fact, my buckler over here, I don't know if I can reach it. I gotta...
I
This
like
is
your chair. I like
like,
your chair, by the way. That's a nice chair.
do you have the same chair? Is that why you're saying
No,
that?
no,
Oh, okay.
I have like a
What?
high quality office chair.
I swear I saw you in a gamer's chair one of these times.
I have it over here, but
Yeah.
the gamer's chair that I have is not super good for the seat support and for like your lower back. You need to use a cushion, and the cushion they provide is like not super good.
Yeah,
So it's not
that's what
this chair I got from my office. It's
this.
ergonomic and it's
I
life
don't.
changing.
I've not figured out how this fucking cushion shit works, man. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, this is my normal melee buckler, and you'll notice I have not put a strap on it. I have a strap buckler for melees, but this is, and the reason is because I didn't used to have a. It's partially this, but I also didn't used to punch that hard. So for me, the extra like, inch of motion and the extra like 2 pounds of pressure didn't matter. But having the ability to block, having the ability to roll as I wanted, and having the
Yeah.
ability to let go, because that's the downside to the strap, is
Well,
that in the
in
melee,
night fights, you can lose your shield and still get the shit kicked out of you, apparently. So
uh, yeah, yeah,
it's like fight keeps going. Like, oh, I'm like partially disarmed, but like whatever, that's your problem.
it's
It's like
partially disarmed.
dropping
Drop
a
your
boxing
weapon.
glove.
Drop
You
your
still have
weapon.
you still have another boxing glove on. You could still fight.
It's a lie. Land, it's not a lie. I swear I sent that to you. I
This
swear I
came
sent you.
this came like this though. I ordered this from Arma Moscova. It was part of a group order.
Yeah.
Because my old buckler got so fucked, right? Like my old buckler is not even like shaped like a buckler
I mean,
anymore. It's just like a crumpled.
That's not really shaped like a buckler.
Well, no,
either. That's like a serving tray.
I know it's gonna get worked in a bit. I haven't been able to use it. I got it after quarantine started, so I haven't been able to use it. But it's gonna get worked in by the time that we fight. But
Yeah.
the question as to whether I leave the straps is a big one. I mean, I can leave them
Leave
and they
them.
don't get it.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's what I like about that is that you can have the straps on there and just decide to strap it whenever you want.
It wasn't my choice though. Is
Well,
what I'm saying.
It
Like,
worked
this is
out.
just how-
It worked out.
Yeah, this is just how they came. It's just how they came, and like if I like, it's not a big deal.
No.
So
Yeah, I think that's good though.
yeah, yeah. So it's like that's what we were discussing, and I think I'm also partial to the liberty of being able to
Yeah.
use the revolving door because
Yeah.
you can do so much more from range too. So if I'm
Yeah.
if I'm fighting you, this block is so much easier when I have the center grip available
Yeah.
than having to come over
All the
like
way over.
like fucking like this or some
Yep.
shit.
Yep.
But like and my original buckler didn't have a strap, so I'm used to punching with the boss.
With the boss, and once
Right?
you
So
learn,
it's like-
once you learn to land that boss, it hits pretty hard. If you're
yeah,
a lot of people like have
Knock
talked
people out
about
with that shit.
a lot of people have talked about they don't like because the boss can roll off, and it's like, yeah, just like your edge can roll, you just
But that's
learn.
good.
You just learn.
But the
How do
roll
you-
off is good.
Well, how's that
Because
good?
yeah, because so this became like part of my buckler meta, like
Okay.
for a while, right?
Okay.
So it's like when you punch them flat,
Yeah.
okay, like you're gonna roll off the side. So it's like you punch and you get the overhook because your
Okay.
buckler is gonna roll off their face, right? Because
Alright.
you're hitting with the boss, so it's gonna slide past. So if you step in with that punch, you're gonna finish with the crux of your elbow beside their head.
All right.
So you could punch and nail that overhook.
All right. All right.
Yeah.
All right. I see where you're going with that. I like that.
I mean, that's my noob ass trying to figure shit out with a buckler a few years ago, and that was the conclusion I came to. Because I didn't have a strap, and I didn't have a drill, and I didn't have leather, and I didn't have rivets, so I'm gonna just justify why what I have can be good.
I mean, it is like I had all those things and I never changed my buckler because I liked the flexibility. I liked being able to choose.
Yeah.
It just means that when you choose
Choice
to
is
punch with the edge, it's just not quite as good. Like having punched with strapped bucklers, it's like, oh, if my game plan is punch, I want that. But like if my game plan is a bunch of things, or
flexibility is
blocking, my game plan's
Well,
blocking.
because it's a buckler too, and it's not a punch shield. So it's like one of the I don't like strap shields in general. I
Yeah.
don't like them.
Yeah.
But one of the advantages of a punch shield is its size, so that even if it's strapped to your hand, like this
Yeah,
is
it's-
doable because
yeah.
you have so much shield in like relative to the buckler.
Yeah.
So it's like there's so much more I can do with it. I can defend both sides of my body relatively. I mean, you can't always, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's definitely the when you have a real shield as opposed to this fucking dinner plate. It's
I'm
a
happy you
lot
want to sword
easier to
fight me.
wax.
I'm happy you want to sword fight me. Like you want to throw a sword. Like that makes me really
Dude,
happy.
I like swords. I like
Me
that's
too.
why I started
I've
fighting.
bro, ever since so it was like a year ago or a bit more, I saw you put up a video of you doing like Pell drills, and I was like, bro, I want to fight you. You look good. You look really good at Sword and Shield. And I know you
Nice.
say like, oh, you're not and
I'm
shit. You
not.
always talk yourself down,
I'm
but like
not.
I definitely like I think you look good.
Thanks.
So I
I
want to fight
mean,
you.
I'm a passable SCA fighter, as in like,
Are
and
you a knight?
no,
You're not a knight?
like I'm not
I've
even
asked you that
close.
before. I've asked you that
I'm not
before.
close. I'm not close to being.
In terms of
So we have
skill or politics.
skill, skill. So
Really?
we have 3 levels in the East. We have or 4 levels really. You have nobody, Silver Tiger, OTC, Knight. That's sort of your skill levels. I just got my Silver Tiger, and I'm not really an OTC.
Is it a power thing? Is it a combination thing? Because like your athleticism and your knowledge and your
Because
experience, like it
because
has to be politics.
no, it's not. It's because
Really?
it's because I stopped playing the SCA as my main game for 5 years.
Hmm.
Right? It became my secondary sword sport. Um, and the thing that I'm naturally good at is not what the SCA cares most about. The SCA's right. It's a point. It's not a point story. It's
It's a point.
how
It is a points game.
it's tag.
a point
It's
game.
tag. It's tag. It's how
But
quick.
it's
I mean,
ego tag.
yeah, it's true. But so that's part of it, right? I used to take and still take way too light, which is
I
hilarious
I
because
find that better though.
I do too. I also
It
like
makes you a pure sword. I come from
it's
foam sword fighting where power gets you in trouble. Like
also that's the point of the game, right? The point of the like people want to win the game, and to me, winning the game of the SCA is walking off with your honor intact. Like that's the one place where I'm like honor matters on the fight. Like I don't
so,
care about honor. I care
well, I
about
mean, if you're trying to
sportsmanship.
recreate, but if you're trying to recreate swords, humans are water balloons and swords are like a sharp knife.
Well,
Right? So it's like you get touched and you pop,
yeah, but like
right? Like
also like the thing about SCA in particular is that it's right. So it's either the sword should do nothing because we're wearing chainmail, and like it's so fucking hard to chop through chainmail with a one-handed sword, right? So like
oh, it happened all the time historically.
it happened sometimes historically, right? Like you can stab through chainmail, and
Yeah,
if it's a broken link, you can cut through it, and you can break bones through it.
right.
But and
Yeah.
like also we have a helm that's open
Well, if you're talking
face.
like, if you mean like chopping off a limb, no, that
No, I
doesn't
mean
happen all
like
the time.
kill
Sorry.
someone, so a good blow in the SCA, right? A good blow for everyone who's watching. You're gonna learn way more about the SCA than you ever cared. I'm sorry, guys. Except Zach. What's up, Zach? But you already know all this. Uh. Oh yeah. What's up, Mikey? Paul's in here. Paul knows about fucking
SCA is good shit,
SCA.
man. Like the guys,
So
the SCA teams from Montreal are like fucking. They're good guys, man. They're strong.
SCA teaches you fucking great melee sense, great
Yeah,
mechanics.
yeah.
It's just making sure you change your mentality. But anyway, so like the SCA is it's the idea is we're all wearing chainmail, which is mostly proof against a one-handed blade. Like you can kill someone in it, but most of the time your first strike with power will not cut through chain. And
Right.
but the way we play it is if you hit them with power to any part of the body, it's a good hit, they die. And then the helm is supposed to be like an old open faced nasal, so not even a Britash, right? You have nothing covering your cheeks.
So you're replicating like 12th century combat.
Supposedly, right?
Right.
Because we're not. Because if it were, right, if I hit you in the head where you have a helmet, I'm probably not going to cut through your helmet, and you'll
No.
probably be fine. And if I hit you in the jaw, you're dead. It's like
Probably.
at all.
You're probably
You're
gonna
probably
die.
dead, right?
Yeah.
But like we have the same force requirement for the top of your head as we have for the jaw, and it is not related at all to what it takes to go through a helmet. It's just a random assignment.
The problem I have with the SCA, the ultimate problem is that you are the judge of whether or not a blow is powerful enough to kill you, rather than there being an arbitrary metric, like a metric.
Yeah.
Not arbitrary, standardized is the word I was looking for. I apologize. A standardized metric, with which to apply, like the kill condition. One thing I like about Bicolin, even though the thing I hate the most about Bicolin is that there's all kinds of restrictions on like power and stuff. Like people will get mad at you. They say you can't hit too hard. It's the touch that counts, not the force, right? So it's like there are people who play like it's like if a feather grazes you, they'll take that hit.
Yeah.
And then there are people who are super thick and super tank, and you have to
No.
like smack the fuck out of them. And I,
No.
I tended to be one of the guys who both required a hit to be like stout and who would deliver stout blows. So that would often, because my whole thing was power mechanics. My sword master was an SCA guy, so it's like I always came at the game like you got a hip rotation, you got to have good mechanics and like deliver like a snappy shot. But a lot of people in that game don't play. So when I gravitated over to SCA, I was like, oh shit, this is cool because now people don't say you hit too hard. People say, yo, people say good. But
sometimes
then
they say that
yeah,
you
but
hit
then you
too
start
hard.
but then you start seeing people where you like fucking flat snap the shit out of them, right? And you hit them as hard as you can and they just keep trucking. And you're like, so I never understood how to navigate those circumstances. And I got advice once that said, well, you can always talk to the person and say something like, well, this is the hardest I'm able to hit. Are you willing to take that as a good shot? And I'm like, how the fuck does that work when you're in a tournament? You're like, blam, and the dude's like, all right, chill. And you're like, excuse me, that's the hardest that I'm possibly able to hit. Are you willing to take that as a shot? Like,
so some dudes might say yes, but a bunch will just be like, sucks to be you. And like,
yeah.
I don't know.
So like, how is that good sword fighting?
There's a lot of people who want to win by not winning. And whatever, that's them.
True.
It's what the fuck's his name?
Isn't being a rhino how you become king? God, I love you, land.
So sometimes that's how Andre became king once. Pew,
Yeah,
pew,
I
shots
know.
fired.
Yeah. Ice Falcon is known to be like even up here, like there's like a
Zach, I watched your fight. You were not fucking numb. I watched your fights. My boy who just was king a little while ago is in the chat.
Bruh. I wish that there was a way to make SCA like more sporty. Like
I don't. Legit, I don't.
Mean,
no, so here's
just
why.
Because I like the fighting. I like fighting.
Do.
I like the stick fighting. I like the level of technicality. I like how when there's a really good fighter, they're like good at fighting.
Right.
But I don't like how as a whole, people who succeed are people who are not athletic.
Let me. Well, so that goes back to my other thing, right? So SCA
that we talked about last week, yeah.
Maybe SCA. Well, earlier today when you were like, "Are you a knight?" and I'm like, "Not close," because SCA fighting, the tourney fighting, which is really a lot of how you get knighted, is how well you fight tourney, not how well you fight melee. In the East, I'm not gonna talk for any other fucking kingdom. But and also I don't know. This was 5 years ago when I was active. This is the idea was you have to fight well in tourney. And tourney fighting is really about how fast this one hand moves, or this hand if you're a lefty, or these hands if you're two-handed. But like it's how fast one of your hands can go, and I don't throw that fast. My hand speed's not that good. And I'm not a technical fighter in the sense of like I think through, right? So a lot of it is throwing this shot to move their shield half an inch, so the next time you can.
That makes you a technical fighter.
That's not how I throw. That's not how I fight.
Oh, okay, all right.
I thought
you were describing.
No, that's how. That's
pure tech fighter.
That's how like
that's how I roll.
Yeah, I know, and that's how a lot of the best SCA fighters fight. I am a very instinctual fighter, so I'm gonna fight, and like a lot of the SCA, particularly because I stopped doing it enough to build up those instincts. I just can't. There are people who I probably have better like pure sword mechanics than who are gonna smoke me in SCA because they have figured out the SCA game way better than I have, and my instincts aren't there for that game anymore. And then there's also that my mechanics aren't SCA mechanics anymore, right? Our singles game in Steel,
very different.
Yeah, and it's
very different.
It's a little bit lighter on your touch. You don't have to hit as hard, and I can let you hit me so that I can hit you twice. That's the worst idea in SCA.
Yeah, I know. In foam fighting, you could do that because you had armor points. So it's like if I have 3 points on my leg because heavy armor was 3 points. So if I have like a greave and you hit me, I let you hit me in the greave so I can like fucking combo the shit out of you. That's that's like a legit way to play. But in SCA, that would just get you fucked up
Yeah.
because it's one shot, unless the dude just doesn't count your shots.
Who is Axe Battalion R? I don't recognize this. What's up,
Axe
man?
Battalion are.
Whoever you are, what's up? How you doing? Is that are you a subscriber? No,
Yeah,
is
yeah.
subscribe to Prime?
I mean, it depends if you're playing with those leg shot rules, where a leg shot just goes down to your leg. Because I've seen like all kinds of video where people like walk off after the leg shot. I guess some people don't like fighting from their knees. But yeah, you can
I
totally go
hate
down to your
fighting.
knees and throw.
I hate fighting on my knees. I for a while I just didn't take it. Like a leg shot, I was dead every time. I don't like. I think it's ugly. I think it's not fun.
It also doesn't make any sense. You wouldn't really fight from your knees historically like that.
Yeah.
You get cut in the leg. You're like, all right, now I'm on my knees.
But yeah, so Zach brought up a point that I was trying to say. The way to
My Achilles leg.
What's up, Chris? How you doing? Hey, does it look good? Thank you for all the Chris helped me set up all this stuff. Do you think it looks good, man?
It looks fantastic.
So anyway, Zach said the way to do that isn't to change the SCA, but set up a tourney that use that. And he's talking about sportifying SCA, and that's my belief, is that what the SCA does well is the SCA honor system. It also does it really poorly, but like Nissan Maxima, who is I forget his name in real life, but he was one of the
Nissan Maxima.
Yeah. So this is he was like one of the original trolls. He's good enough to get knighted, but always fought as a merc, never wanted to be knighted. Did not like a lot of the SCA stuff. And he's always fought SCA. He was one of the Daniel Stool, one of the original fighters from America, the first 26 or whatever, 29, whatever they're called. We have the company that went, they have like a name that went to Botan the first time. But he was like one of the first dudes who did it. And he said, he has this line about the SCA that I'm going to butcher, but basically it's the curse and the benefit of the SC is every time you go out to fight, you get to figure out what type of man you are, right? Every time you go out there, it is on you to live up to your honor. And that's both the beauty of the game and its detriment. And I personally, as a person who loves the SCA, don't want to see that gone. But sport rattan fighting sounds great. So we can go make sport rattan tournaments and have marshals the way HEMA does. You can have.
I think HMB. I think HMB is just the future of sword fighting sports in general. Like in terms of the equipment, not necessarily in terms of the game. Just the idea of that now we can fight with real weapons.
I don't think so. I don't think Rattans.
I think that's eventually, because as production increases and popularity increases, it's going to start to I think that there's going to be levels of attraction to the other games, but in terms of what people want to invest in, I have a feeling that it's going to start to gravitate towards that.
I don't, and I'll go over that 1 second. Thank you, Chris, for the sub so much. So here's why I don't think it's going to, because the cost is still going to be way higher, right? You can fight Rattan for $100.
Yeah,
right.
Same with foam fighting. You can fight foam fighting for like $7.
Yeah. And so Rattan may go away, and we may just or not go away, but may shrink, and we'll end up having way more foam and way more steel. But I think we're gonna see a lot of room for rattan fighting for people who want to be violent, who want to have real power in their shots and stuff. But either steel is too expensive, too dangerous, or it's not where they want to go.
So I think I'm ready to cede some ground. So first off, I agree that
hold up. I need to make a counter for when one of us, when either of us backs down. So we can
not backing down. I'm just
yeah.
I'm pivoting. So I'm going in a different way. So it's like I can agree that there are disadvantages to the steel game. Like the danger of thrust techniques makes them very, very undesirable. That removes like a lot of the purity of sword fighting that sports like SCA or games like SCA and foam fighting and HEMA and stuff offer. Is that there's like more of a completeness in terms of the breadth of techniques that you can use in terms of the purity of sword fighting. HMB offers more of a physical environment that you can access that you can't in other games as easily. So kicks
Right.
and punches and like
Yeah.
grappling and stuff.
Yeah.
So okay, so on that front, you're still gonna see a divide in terms of the rule sets, right? But I'm saying in terms of the equipment, like a sword now, like my swords and shit that I have my arming sword is from Vitaly Grizlov. He's considered the best smith in the world, right?
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
costs like $160.
Yeah.
So it's like people are producing foam swords that cost twice that price.
Yeah, but Rattan it doesn't.
No, but in terms of the protection in Rattan and the investment, right? You can start to get like you could start to get armor for our sport that's starting to be really cheap, right? Because now the price focus is more on like, high grades of spring steel and titanium and shit, but like lower grades of spring steel you can get for super cheap, and there's tons of armor
I
going
mean,
around that you can get that's becoming more easily
we
accessible. So
you still can't kit up for under a grand. You
it's
still
tough to kit up for under a grand.
like
You're right.
1500 head to toe is still a fucking steal.
It
It's a
is.
steal. So
It
like,
is. It is.
and like
That's now.
my first SCA kit was literally I think it was literally $120, like $100 for the helm, $20 for everything else.
Because you guys can use like hockey pads and stuff,
Yeah.
right?
And
Yeah.
like I bought some fucking used fucking plastic gear from some dude.
I mean, if you're talking about the accessibility factor, then definitely you need stuff that's at like an entry level so people can get into the world of sword fighting. So like I'm just talking in terms in terms of the sport itself and
Right.
the space in the sword fighting world it's going to occupy, like in terms of what it attracts from people, I find as it's picking up steam, more and more people in greater and greater proportions
The
are being attracted to
the
it, being pulled from other games and
sure.
coming into HMB before they see other games.
So I
So it's
think,
like
but here's the
in
other
terms
thing.
of the public eye, we're more in the public eye.
I think we're more in the public eye now, but I think what's gonna happen is that you're gonna see us feed it in right now. People are foam sports and SCA and rattan sports feed us, but I think as we grow, we're gonna start feeding them. And
Possible.
here's why. I did you join that Discord server I sent you, Armor Combat Welfare?
Yes.
I should if Mikey, you want to put a link to that in the chat so I don't have to. So this is a Discord that one of the guys from Minnesota who's got this fucking banging TikTok put together. And it's basically for casuals. I mean, there's a couple of diehard some sweaty tryhards, some like I'm in there, Mikey's in there. Alex seems like he's moderate on that. But like a lot of these people are just in it because they want to put on. They don't really want to like be. They're not talking about going to Botan. They're not talking about going to IMCF. They just want to like put on armor and hit their friends. And I think that there's a better place for that in the SCA and in foam because the athleticism required is lower. Like your skill is much higher if you want to be at the top level. Right now, because our skill just hasn't got there. But like your base athleticism,
maybe yours hasn't.
I meant as a yeah. All right. But like but the thing that the base athleticism to be an SCA fighter is not that high, right? You have to not like fall over walking.
Yeah.
But like being good requires a lot more skill, but it doesn't require you to go to the gym.
Does it require more skill?
At the moment,
That's the
yes.
question.
Well,
That's the
hold
question.
up.
Because when you have an honor system, well, that's exactly it. When you have an honor system, okay, it takes away from good versus skill. Because so, like, here's a question. So here's a question that'll probably make me cede all of my ground. If there's like a positive answer to this question,
right.
I would cede all my ground on the SCA if this is the case, and I just don't know it because I'm inexperienced.
All right, hit me
so
up.
There are marshals that are watching the match, I imagine.
Technically, yes.
Right, like in a tournament. We're talking a tournament, not just like random people fighting. I know at SCA practices,
technically you're supposed to have.
They have to have a marshal, but I'm talking
and they
about like
always
a guy...
do every time.
Of course, but I'm talking about like in terms of somebody like occupying a referee role.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Not just like a safety or organizational role.
Okay.
So like in a tournament, you have a marshal who's like watching and adjudicating the match.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so if somebody is like too thick to the point of being cheaty, Do they get called for it?
It depends on the kingdom.
Yeah.
But some kingdoms have rules for it. Yes. Um,
So like if you see a guy ice falconing, is the marshal going to be like, all right, bro, that's cheating?
um, it sometimes the best I can give you.
I don't back down, man.
So let me say why I think it's a higher skill though.
Okay.
I think it's a higher skill because at the moment, and when I say skill, I'm talking about your technical skill with the weapon, with your striking, with your understanding of fight sense, as opposed to your athletic skill at like being good at controlling your body. That's a skill, and it's worth
Being
that. But like that's a set. But that just means general athleticism. I'm talking sport
yeah,
specific skill.
being able to thrust and stab
It's not even that.
is
It's not
no,
even
but
that.
no. Hold on.
Okay.
Just let me. I'm just like articulating my
Yeah,
point.
get through it.
Being able to thrust and stab at the face, at the face, definitely elevates the skill ceiling quite a bit. Quite a bit. Thrusts in general being easy moves to incorporate into a lot of different combinations can be very difficult to defend. And the fact that our sport does not incorporate thrusts removes a lot of the complexity and the need for a higher skill game,
Yes.
because the ability to leave your center line relatively unguarded because of the lack of center
Danger.
line
Danger.
danger, right? Because a slot shot is dangerous in terms of like losing points, but like slot shots are a lot lower percentage in terms of their ability to land on average than thrusts, right?
Exactly.
And this is including like stuff like an offside thrust where you come and you snake around, or you do like
Mhm.
wrist leader thrusts, anything that has an angulation change at the end of the thrust, right? Specifically, not having to defend thrusts to the face, in my opinion, makes our sport less technical. So
I
I
would
would
agree.
agree that if you're searching for a sport or a game that allows you the most diversity in terms of technique and shot selection, then SCA, and to a lower extent HEMA, because HEMA doesn't really play with shields like SCA does,
Okay.
right? Because you don't have a because they're manual oriented, and the type of shield dueling that we do isn't really, it's more
Yes.
reconstructive in terms of
Yeah,
looking
you're
backwards from
sure.
I-33
Sure.
than looking
Right.
from like a
They
primary sword,
mostly use very small shields which do
which it's they go backwards from I-33
I
with bucklers
I
generally.
think I think you might be underselling HEMA but here my other reason why I think our sport currently is a lower skill game is we're newer, but the real difference is because we are still at the point where a lot of places being athletic allows you to beat someone. Just being athletic,
Yeah, like in real fighting.
no, I mean
Yep.
in real fighting on the street, but not in real fighting in a cage,
In real fight,
because in a cage everyone's athletic.
some people are more athletic. Some
Yeah,
people, like, their whole strategy is athleticism
it's
and
not
being
really.
like, they're Tony Ferguson. Up until like recently, Tony Ferguson's whole thing was, I'm never stopping, and he would just gas
Yeah,
people.
yeah, he's never stopping, but like you can't just come in and never stop, right? Like
Unless you're Tony Ferguson
no, Tony
or
Ferguson
or
has
Khabib.
Khabib doesn't just never stop. He also has an incredible takedown game,
It's
right?
true.
That's what I'm
It's
talking
true.
about. Is like these aren't guys just coming in and saying I'm just gonna throw punches. This is a guy coming in saying I'm gonna throw high percentage punches that can knock you the fuck out, and I'm never gonna stop.
Well,
Or
you have your
Khabib
Max
saying,
Holloways too.
yeah, but like these are all super technical fighters who
Yes.
also are athletic, right? You can't
Yes. Yes.
not. And the other thing is, there's no one who's out there who's not athletic. There's no
True.
one who's not.
True.
We
True.
still have a bunch
True.
of people coming into our game who are not
Who
really
are not athletic.
athletic.
Yes.
And
Yes. Because
and
we don't have standardized requirements for performance metrics or
right.
anything.
And
Yeah.
there are also people who at the moment like can just who are basically just getting by on throwing a shit ton of shots because the even the people who are semi-athletic aren't really up to the point
So so
where
I would just throw back. I would just throw back and say, if you're a better sword fighter, if you're a better sword fighting technical skill, then that isn't a threat to you.
no, you have to be
Yeah.
both. You have to
Th-
be both. You have to
No, well,
be
I mean,
athletic
it,
and technical.
no, so I mean, yes, I agree, but in terms of your fight strategy, you have to adjust correctly in the face of somebody
Yeah,
who's overwhelming you with
right.
a certain type
Sure.
of pressure. So if somebody who is a noob but is athletic can beat you when you have a lot more experience, then you either are like you think you're better than you are, you have a bad fight game, your ability to adjust needs work, your corner needs to help if you have one. So it's like there are a lot of fight specific reasons that I would
Sure.
wager are more
I just
more
we're at the point where where a new fighter can beat a mid tier fighter based on athleticism, or a mid tier fighter can beat an experienced fighter based on athleticism.
spam is legit, man.
But
Spam is
but
legit.
eventually we will get to the point where mid tier fighter will not be able to beat just on athleticism. They'll have to have some serious fucking actual game, right? Like you can just have your
Cool depth.
onside and your
Cool depth.
offside. You can
Cool
just
depth.
have your on, yeah. And we're not quite there yet. And the SCA is because it's a 60-plus-year old
Yeah,
game,
yeah, yeah. So
and
I give you that too.
because they only worked on that. We are working on both paths, so we're going to be a little bit slower to get to that level, I think.
Well, you're going to start to see more and more crossover too,
yeah,
because people are going to want to start doing what we do.
Right.
And very often I see people from other games who look at what we do and they're like, "Oh fuck, I can do this."
Yeah,
Right?
so here's
like that makes people like go like
yeah.
wide-eyed.
Yeah, I think we're gonna see some changes in foam and in rattan based on our game existing, because like rattan used to be the badass game and it no longer gets to be. Now it has to be something else. And also, like Zach pointed out in the chat, SCA used to be a very toxic environment, and they're actively trying to change it. And they're actively trying to be open to more things now. So
That's cool.
yeah, and it's also going to that's going to drive a lot of the bros into our game, which sucks, but also like will like
Our game is where the bros belong, though.
yeah.
Technically.
Honestly, yeah,
It's the jockey game right now.
I
The
do
bros should go.
I do think we need to, and I think we are actually doing a great job of making sure we don't become too fucking gym bro culture, but also not creating like a false honor
I kind
culture.
of would prefer that we'd be gym bro culture in the sense that
Then what?
everybody would be healthy and in shape at least.
Bro, plenty of gym bros are not
I know,
healthy or
I
in
know.
shape.
I'm just being silly.
Yeah.
Being silly.
Yeah.
And I want to give a shout out to Dave Ip. He's my sword master. What up, buddy? How you doing?
Yeah.
How you
Shouts
enjoying
out
lockdown?
to the guy who taught you, who's gonna be so sad in a couple months when I fucking destroy you.
He's probably going to be sad just watching the pitiful defense you mount against me. Relentless onslaught. Gonna be like, wow, this fight was hyped up for 6 months. Jesus, Alex. Pick a better opponent. God.
Oh, good shit.
Did you see the trash talk war between me and Sean Krakenslayer?
No, I
So
missed it.
did you?
I'm
did
not.
You see the
I'm
post?
barely on fucking Facebook, man.
So I put up a post for my new saber that's on its way from Canadian Booher Shop.
Oh, the one you showed me. The fucking has like
Yeah.
flex, dude. I think that would be legal for thrusting in a thrusting sport.
Dude, it looks so good. I'm so excited. So I'm really looking forward to getting that. But there was like a huge trash talk war between Krakenslayer and myself. It was great.
Yeah,
I encourage you guys.
Kraken talks some great trash.
He's
He
fun.
is
him.
top tier trash talk. Lost Valkyrie, I feel like an ideal culture would be supporting and challenging everyone to get better and accountability. I mean, that's
Ultimately.
I think that's where we're going, right? I think we are taking the best parts of bro culture, and we're actively, from what I've seen at the Knights Hall, from what I see in the ACS, is we're actively trying to cut out both the toxic elements of the SCA and the toxic elements of medievalism, which are like fake chivalry, as opposed to like someone who actually believes in the ideals, as opposed to they just want to be like, look at me being knightly. Just fuck that shit. As well
I
as
be historically knightly.
No, you don't.
Oh yes, I do. Let's get it on.
I'm gonna go murder this entire town.
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna
take
go murder
all
this
their
entire
shit.
town, take all their shit. What I'm talking about. Kraken Slayer's in there. Wear him like a hat, Ringo. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So he was saying shit. He was saying shit like, you're gonna wear me like a hat. Like
I don't
the
even
silly,
know what
like,
that means.
like because Canada is like a silly hat on the US. And I told him, I said shit like, remember what happened the last time you started shit with us and we burned down the White House? It's just a warning shot.
Oh shit.
So it's like, yo, it got pretty intense.
What
It
would you
was fun.
feel like the ideal culture for the sport would look like? And like true ones or white knights? I don't know what you mean by true ones or white knights, Valkyrie. But yeah, so what do you think the ideal sports culture for us is?
Me?
Yeah.
Competitive athletic combat sports environment with like douchebagginess is kind of unavoidable in that environment because people want to fight and be better than each other, and it's like a very like alpha E kind of, it attracts that kind of behavior. But I think that can be tempered by just having like a good quality communal approach, because you won't foster that kind of personality. They won't find purchase. So it's like, it's hard to be a dick to somebody who's like nice and welcoming into the environment and like, yo, like come in, let me show you a bunch of shit and like be a part of our thing. It's hard to be dicks to those people. And if the focus is on good quality fighting, education, like proper approach as a sport, I think that's just going to be the best environment for us. Like, it should be kind of like the Brazilian jiu-jitsu of the medieval world.
I like that. I like that.
That's what I
I
think.
feel very good about jits when I go.
Yeah. BJJ has the best like learning and athletic environment because the toxic people just naturally get shedded.
I mean,
Um,
I don't know. I've been reading fucking Gordon Loves Jujitsu's fucking shit talk with everyone. Um so like the high level still has a lot of fucking toxic bullshit. And like
Competition is always going to be, but the learning environment
I think in
structure of Brazilian jiu-jitsu fosters the best kind of competitor,
yeah,
I
I think
think.
so. So Land Gringo, I gave my judo sensei the same book I gave you. Yeah. The Ill
Please
Maiden
less
Knights.
misogyny. I don't know what that's referring to.
That's referring to our culture. But I mean like really that's referring to the world. Like I don't
The
think that
culture, the culture of misogyny in HMB in North America,
in North America. And not HMB
bro.
and not HMB.
Okay,
All of
like
the whole thing. Everybody. Like
in sword
armored
fighting,
armored combat.
in armored combat in North America.
They're saying less
Oh man.
misogyny.
Okay, that's got to have to be a debate for another stream for sure.
I mean, like, I'm just gonna. My thing is, I don't think we are more misogynistic than the world in general. We're more misogynistic than certain.
Dude, women can fight in our fights, but we can't fight in their fights.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, this is
It's
definitely
true.
for another
It's true.
stream.
I
This is
have
for another stream. Nope.
I have women's world champions in my competitive line, bro.
Yeah.
I bring women's world champions
No, I know. I know.
ACS chapter
I
matches.
know. I will.
Like,
We'll do this another stream. My big point though is I think there are cultures that are less misogynistic than us, and there are cultures that are more. I think are fairly on point for the average for the world right now. The world is slightly misogynistic. That's
Russia is catching up to like everybody in terms of like their cultural advancement in general. So I would agree that Russia is super far behind, and I would agree that out of like some of the Eastern European countries, you see misogyny, and there's
there's a
present in
lot
commentary,
there's a lot of
but
misogyny in our
in
culture. There
in
is.
I mean, I personally don't see it. Like, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but as a team captain, as an event organizer, as a competitor at a high level, like like I see a lot of respect for women's
There
fighting.
there is
and and
there
and
is
and
there's that as well. There's
I
both.
see I
There's
see I
both.
see
There's both though.
I never see anybody talking that down. And I'm in a lot of groups. I'm in contact with a lot of people who are team leaders and event organizers, and I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm not saying that. Okay, I would never like discount somebody else's life experience like that.
Right.
But I'm saying that in terms of the structure of our sport here, like the women who participate in our sport, man, are fucking amazing. They're all
Canada
amazing.
might be better than the US in this too though. Like you may have a
Unsurprisingly.
Hey!
Like we are in everything.
Yeah, oh yeah, who's in lockdown? Turns
Who's in
out freedom.
Yeah, the people who haven't lost 500,000 people to coronavirus.
I hate it so much. I hate it. I hate it. Anyway, back to Land's point about the ill-made knight. Yeah, those they're like they were bad people. Your judo instructor's right. Knights are shitty. Knights have always been
Yeah.
shitty, and that's a thing that I don't think we should lose. Like that idea. So, but about the ideal culture though. I brought this up the other day in the Knights Hall just made a little Discord, and so I was talking in there, and I was about how the hall doesn't have a spiritual side, really, like an official spiritual side, right? And like that's a thing that you find in a lot of martial arts is like a dedication to some spiritual aspect. Um, and like BJJ doesn't have it like built in, but a lot of BJJ places will have some amount. I mean, like even just like the bowing before you come onto the mat and the respect for the professor. That there's an aspect of that that may not be spiritual, but it's like mentally, it sort of an official mental discipline that we haven't really adopted at the hall. And I'm
But
not
that's more of an Eastern culture thing than a Western culture thing, just in
maybe
terms of the approach to martial arts. Like Greeks and
I
Romans
don't.
didn't do that when wrestling or entering the Colosseum. So it's like
I mean,
I'm
they
just drawing
probably.
parallels.
I bet they had the salute to the god they did, but
Yeah, but I
regardless,
don't think it's the
um,
same thing, like showing respect to the dojo and showing respect to the
of
teacher
course
and
it's not.
showing
It's
respect
of
to
course
the student.
there are different things, but
Yeah.
they I think they do fall in the same. And like knightly traditions were very much into it had an aspect of chivalry, like that of spirituality. That's what chivalry is. And admittedly, they didn't live up to it, but I think a lot of people don't live up to their ideas. Chat's going crazy, and I'm not following it at all. I think a lot of people don't live up to a lot of fighters don't live up to the spiritual side of their sport or their art. Most people don't live up to the spiritual side of whatever they follow. But anyway, it's just not a thing that in the sport we really talk about at all. Besides a couple of people being like, "Let's be knightly and honorable," which is dumb because knights weren't knightly and honorable.
Well,
Um,
my view of the spirituality of sword fighting has always been like, for me it's a personal journey. Like sword fighting is much like you, right? Sword fighting is my number one passion in my life. It's my way of finding myself and discovering my own abilities and understanding my own, my own evolution, my own journey, physically, mentally, emotionally, and everything has all been, you know very integrated with sword fighting. So it's like I feel really connected to it. I feel connected to like my weapons, for example. I feel connected to my equipment, and I find that I don't perform well without my equipment. Not just because I'm not used to it, but because it's like you develop a connection with these things. You develop
yeah,
a connection with your team too. So there's a lot of different not physical aspects to the sport and to the pursuit of martial arts in general that I think go beyond having like a false culture or an or a culture that like a false spiritual culture, right? Like Musashi's all about the understanding of the self through the pursuit of martial arts, right? And that's something that's always resonated with me. So it's like I don't need a culture from outside. I don't need somebody coming from outside to tell me where like how to feel and how to evolve and how to develop. Like my own experiences inform
right.
my my development.
Well, yeah, and that's I think that's true for me too. And this is the point that I was kind of bringing up is that at the hall, it's not that we don't have it, right? I've had many conversations with Jay, who is a knight in the SCA, about what that means to him, as well as just in our sport, like what violence is acceptable and what isn't, like all sorts of things. Um, of like how to get over the barrier of hurting someone and then how to have a beer with someone who a second ago you really wanted to fucking hurt. Like there are and then the discipline aspect of overcoming pain, of pushing yourself. All of these things are spirituality might not be the right word, but like it's the general concept I'm coming to the mental
For
growth.
the
Like you said.
the fact that we don't make money in the sport and still pursue it and still get injured in the pursuit of it, many people will look at that and say that's stupid or it's immature. It's like my dad, for example. My dad is the kind of person that he's always been very against me sword fighting. He doesn't like it. He thinks it's stupid. He thinks getting injured is stupid. He thinks concussions are stupid, which all of that's
Concussions
true.
are stupid.
All of that is true. And in terms of the way the parent should look at the child's pursuit of then development of their own life, like seeing your kid repeatedly put themselves into dangerous situations, not only for like no practical reason, but not even for a financial reason, right? Is hard for them, is hard for a lot of them to swallow. And I can understand that. I've broken bones in this sport, I've gotten hurt in the sport, I've been out for injury many times, but at the same time, sword fighting my entire life has allowed me to understand life so much better, understand myself and my place in life, and make connections with people that otherwise I wouldn't have. And it's enabled so many different kinds of transformations for me, right? Like I used to be a dude who was 250 pounds. Now I'm a dude who's 190 pounds, right? I'm substantially more athletic than I was before, and I'm more confident than I was before, and that extends outside of sword fighting. It extends into my real life too, because the confidence that you build in the ring comes out of the ring with you.
Yeah.
It's like if you can withstand adversity in the form of like a giant dude, smashing you repeatedly, you can withstand a lot of adversity outside the ring, because there's like a relativity to real life that you develop somehow in the ring. It feels like the ring is a microcosm of real life, and the pursuit of excellence in the ring is the same thing as the pursuit of excellence in real life. That's why, bring it up again, Musashi's Gorin no Sho, Book of the Five Rings, and Sun Tzu's The Art of War are also regarded as books that are integral for a fundamental understanding of business.
Yeah.
And how to operate in the business world.
Yeah. I mean, the people also in the business world think of business as war, which is weird. But
it is though.
It's not.
It is. It uses the same principles.
No, war is a zero-sum game. Business is not a zero-sum game. So that's a thing.
I mean, no, but in terms of you have to get beyond the one-to-one translation, and it's about how it can inform.
No,
right? It's like war is about information and strategy.
The Art of War is a valuable text for all humans, in my opinion, as is the Book of Five Rings. Business, I think, doesn't see that because it's a valuable text for all humans, but sees it because it's about war. And like that's the thing where I'm like, well, I think you might actually be missing some of this, but anyway.
Well, I mean, I look to be informed. Like I look for fighting to inform my life, just how I look for my life to inform fighting. So exactly. I talk about I love cooking, and I talk often about fighting in cooking terms, right? Especially lately, because I'm learning a lot more about cooking, because I can't fucking fight, so gotta fucking do something. But it's like, like cooking has a lot of different elements to it, right? To get your end product, you have all kinds of different you have ingredients, and you have cooking procedures, and there's all kinds of different strategy, and there's spices, and cooking is as much about having good quality ingredients as about having information and knowledge and experience and timing and rhythm and flow. It's like there's preparation. So it's like all of these elements translate over into your fight. The performance in your fight being the end result of all of your preparation and the ingredients, and the inconsistencies that can come up in the cooking process. So I mean, there's a lot of translation from things if you're willing to just kind of expand your perspective from beyond the simple one-to-one translation. I think that's really important in terms of our overall development as fighters. So I mean, I look at texts like that as significant in that sense.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. Like you definitely can pull from that into your life, and like you said, like fighting should inform your life, and that's really where I'm going with this. Is that it's not a thing. I'm not sure I want it to be formalized, and I know it's not, but I also think it's just a thing that we're kind of just letting sit on the side, and maybe it's a thing that we need to pay a little bit more attention to. Is like, and not personally. I pay attention to it for myself, and it sounds like you pay attention to it for yourself. But like as a culture, do we need to try and like talk about how to not become this weird like fake nightly thing, and like or how do we not bow entering the dojo, because I don't think that's our culture, yet still cultivate this discipline and respect for each other that we really need. And like I think it's somewhat built in, but I also think there can be a little bit more explicitness to how we talk about that, and how we talk about building mental discipline, and how we talk about fighting making you grow as a person. Paul, I know, really wants to talk about, he talks about like I forget his words for like the spirituality of brutality or some shit like that.
He's amazing.
And Paul's great. But like but like there is a thing there that I think as a culture we do not talk about enough, and I think we should, but not to the extent of becoming a philosophy, right? We're a fight sport, and we should be a fight sport.
I've trained a lot of people.
Yeah.
I've trained a lot of people, and out of all the people I've trained, only a couple have like gone the distance in terms of like, you know, incorporating training and then like applying it and finding their own way to their own personal greatness. And that's normal for anybody in any pursuit of anything. And I'm not standing here saying I'm the greatest coach in the world. I'm not standing here saying I'm the best fighter in the world. That's not what I'm saying. Because you don't have to be great to teach.
It's true. That is 100% true. But also, you're not the greatest fighter in the world. You're not Yukalov.
I'm way better than you.
You're not Max Young. Yeah,
I'm way better than you. That's all that matters.
That's fair. I mean, but you won't be in 5 months.
I mean, I will be.
You won't.
Bro, I will be. You know? It's like you got people I've already beaten coming up to stand behind you, being like, "Oh, you could beat him, Ringo." So it's like whatever. You know, it's like Mikey in the chat is like, "Ringo's going to put you out for injury." I'm like, "Yeah, okay, Mikey, come talk to me."
I mean, I'm just saying
when you can put me out for injury.
Right now.
Last time we tangoed, Mikey, I was the one who walked out the victor. Just saying.
Right now, Bear, who has the victory between us in fights we've had?
In fights we've had,
who's won?
Have the victory.
Who has?
You have the longsword victory.
I have, and in chapter matches you have won, but I also have won. So
you did beat us once. That's true.
We did.
Yeah.
We actually
did we ever run it back a third time?
We have not done it. We haven't done a third time.
We didn't do a third one, but you're not with the Monarchs anymore, right?
But when we stomped you, we stomped you, and you took us to like 17 points or whatever. Like it was a back and forth match, and then we didn't lose a round to you when we fought you.
No, that is not what happened. I have all that shit on video.
We might have lost one round.
That is bullshit.
We might have lost one round.
Every time we fought, it's been tight. You've never stomped us.
Whoa! Roll it back! We stomped you.
Where's Dom? Is
Dom
in here?
That was the only time I saw Dom take a knee. Oh my god!
Dom taking what the fuck?
This is what happened.
Is that the one where Dom went 8 minutes with Brian?
No, this is the next year. It was we did the four way, and
the 4-way.
Yeah, so we.
The one at the Highland Games?
No,
maybe you weren't at that one, were you?
No, it was in the church.
We fucked you guys up there.
We fought. Who did we fight? We fought.
Was it the one with the
Big Phil's
team
team?
Were there?
We fought Big Phil's team, and you fought. Yeah, I think
Patriots.
And you fought the Wackanine, and then we fought each other afterwards.
Oh, I remember that tournament. We only fought to 7 there, right?
And
we didn't do the 11.
We did only fight because we both fought to 7 before.
Yeah.
But like there was this moment where I forget who was holding. I think Al and Dom were holding each other. And someone else came in, and Al gets free, and Al hits Dom once and goes like, "Do you want more?" And Dom's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'll tell you." Like it was like, "I don't. I'm good. Like keep hitting me. I'm fine."
Where's
Dom? Wait.
Where's Dom?
Then Al hits him like 3 more times. And like it's just the whoever else was fighting on the other side. Dom looks up and goes, "Oh, it's just me and the 2 of you. I think I'll sit down now." And I was like, "Okay."
I mean, that's legit. That's like
no, of course, but it's like the
decision.
only time I've seen Dom be like, "Yeah, I don't want to get hit anymore." It's the only. And I was like, "What?" It was wild.
Sean, if Ringo's going to walk out wearing a bear skin, I'm not going to walk out wearing a raccoon skin. I don't want to get rabies.
I'm gonna smash you like another girlfriend, dude. I can't fucking get another partner right now. I'm polysaturated. What are you talking about, Mikey?
Bro, Ringo is way too masculine for me.
I can shave this beard.
The beard is too much. It's too much friction.
I can shave.
I can't do it.
I can shave. Loser has to shave now.
Loser has to shave.
We're gonna keep adding stuff.
I shave every couple months. Let's do it. I burn the field to regrow stronger.
You watched the Bern tourney. You said the whole thing.
I did.
All right. Cool.
I did.
I
got a lot of really crazy information out of that tournament.
They were so fucking good.
One-handed axe meta.
I didn't see those. I didn't see that guy.
Everyone's using them. They're everywhere.
Lots of.
They're everywhere.
They might be
everywhere.
But like, there's It's still majority falchion. It's still majority falchion.
No.
Yes, it
No.
is.
No.
All right.
Trust me. It's something we were all talking about. The one-handed axe meta.
I believe it was a thing, but it was not the majority. It was definitely not the majority.
All right, where I gotta set my shit up here because you're pulling out the thing right now.
Yeah, are you not in the? Are you not in the party?
I am. I'm just maneuvering. I'm just maneuvering all my shit around, so I have like you on one screen. You can see your stupid face.
Here we go.
I'm moving the stream chat over there, and then hiding all this Path of Exile stuff.
Are you hiding your porn too?
No.
You got to keep that up while we talk.
Oh God, there's been so much porn, bro. You're stuck alone in quarantine.
It's okay. Porn's good stuff.
The great thing about living in Canada is you can just get everything for free. Yar, internet pirates.
Oh no, man. That's the one thing I'm like not okay with people pirating. Pay for your porn. Support your sex
Yar,
workers.
matey.
Support your fucking sex workers.
Yar, matey.
I can't get to the beginning of this fight.
Let me do it.
All right, you go. You tell us. You're gonna control, actually, since you watched it. If you know where you want to watch, let's fucking make it happen. Lost Valkyrie. Yeah, I'm like Paul said. I think it's more. We as a community should talk about it a little more. I don't think that we should push any philosophy. I don't think we should create a code of ethics or whatever. I don't want to do that because I don't really feel comfortable doing that as a person. Like, I don't have my own shit figured out. So
Bro, look at Bern already with the one-handed axes.
Dude. Yeah, all right. There were some out there.
Bro, they're all using them now. It's like the whole meta has shifted now because now it's about like hurting people through armor.
Hopefully,
because an axe hurts through armor way more than a falchion.
If you can swing it right, which of course these guys
Burn
can.
athletic condition.
Yeah. And look, it's timing. It's timing more than conditioning. But like, of course, again, the burn guys are gonna have that because
they all got them though, dude. It's crazy. It changes everything.
Don't forget to promote the Only Nights page. Yeah, we're gonna try to do an OnlyFans that's only nights. So if you have lewds of yourself in armor,
I posted that. That's my idea.
No, it's our. We already have the domain. We have the domain.
I called it Only Cans.
Only Cans isn't as good. Only Nights.
Only Cans, but everything has to have your helmet on.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, if you have those, send it to us, and we are gonna profit off of pictures of you and probably not share. And by we, I mean Alex. I'm not actually involved in this at all. I just want the thing to happen. Not this Alex, a different Alex. Here we go.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah,
it's
man.
The prevalence of one-handed axe.
This is
telling you.
This is what's nice is that these. So right, obviously there's gonna still be a lot of rail, but these guys are still moving in the middle, and I wish. I've been making
that argument for a little while that there is more mobility at the higher levels.
At the high, sometimes they just like White Company really does just like sitting on the rail.
Well, I mean, these guys are all sitting on the rail, so it's like right now you could criticize this and be like, "Oh, this is boring to watch."
But like that guy just got out. We've seen
that low kick.
White Company though, just like sitting on the rail. Like they
Look
don't
how
like
little
moving.
Ref interaction there is right now.
Yeah,
isn't it great? Refs are just letting the fight happening. Nobody's like giving shit to anybody right now. It's amazing. See, like pry his arm off.
Yeah, I feel like they don't do that often, and I wonder if it's just too hard. Like I don't see arm attacks as much as I would expect, and I just don't know why, and it bothers me. It really bothers me.
Come on, these NSK guys do really well.
Who won? It was
Partisan. Partisan wins because it's Bern teams versus other teams. Bern doesn't fight themselves in this tournament because they never fight themselves.
What?
Yeah, they do it like a conference style.
But we've seen old friends fight Bear Paw. I thought in tournaments. So they'll do it in other tournaments
because you don't have a choice. But that fight was bad if you remember it.
I don't remember that.
It's fight. Like their dynamism is really on point. There's a lot of target switching,
right?
And it's like keeping your back to the list and like being on the list in general when you know how to use it is definitely the best position to be in. And it's like look at how they alternate targets. Look at what their shot selection is. Like in this, so these guys on the side up here, you could easily make that argument that that's boring to watch, but the entirety of the fight hasn't been that.
Oh yeah, no. This is. I'm not making that argument for this fight. I think you were right. The top end Eastern Euros. I don't know that the top end other teams do that though.
2 min, no takedown doesn't mean anything. You could have no rail and still have 2 minutes, no takedowns, Chris. These guys are just good at wrestling.
Yeah.
You see them wrestling when they don't have their arms on the list and they're able to stay up.
Also, more importantly, we're seeing action, right? So they are hitting, they are moving. The fact that scores, like soccer, you can get a whole game, 90 minutes, no one scores. But there's still action the whole time. I want to see action over just rail grinding. I don't want to see rail grinding.
But look at how they're grinding on the rail. That's where it's high level, because you see how they're. But you see the techniques they're trying, and you see there's action.
No, all right. So pause it. Go back and pause it. Actually, no, this is fine. This is perfect. Right. So this number one that we see right here, for the past 30 seconds, this grapple hasn't changed. It's the same grapple. That, unlike the rest of the fight, is boring. And admittedly, if one part of a fight is boring and the whole fight overall is good, that's fine. But in particular, like this type of grapple, you see a lot and in HMB. Now, maybe you don't see it a lot with this high level teams. I don't know. This is the first. I've not gotten to watch this entire tournament. The fights I did see were not that much like this. But White Company in particular, which is a high level team, really do sit on the rail and wait and grind and wait.
Because they're good wrestlers. Because you don't want to have your back to the open part of the list. That's fine,
but like that's a shitty meta.
But even if there's no rail grabbing, you could put your back to the rail. That's the best place to be.
But you cannot just hold it the way they can in the rail. You can't be as static. That's the whole point. Is that this type of static wrestling is bad, and if everyone on a team is doing it, the fight is bad.
Well, but that's not what's happening. Let's keep going and see what happens. That's not what's happening. They also have time limits.
Right, and that's also...
They have 4 minute per round time limits.
Let me be clear. That's not what is happening in this fight in particular. This is one person is having a static grapple, not the entire team. And that's fine. One person having a static grapple is fine. I have no problem.
So, Suge Knight says, this shot is also my gripe with belt identifiers. Who can honestly, if they see more than number one on screen right now? Yeah, on screen right now.
Yeah. No, but I agree. And especially, right, so like the belt identifiers are all white. They don't really show as well against the white on the, what was it, KS? What's
NSK.
NSK. They don't show as well on NSK's team.
I don't know if I'm down to have them with like jersey numbers. I think that takes it a step too far.
You know what I want, honestly? I like jersey numbers because I'm a dumb American. But you know what I really want? I want helms. I want it on the helm.
Painted helms are technically passable.
Painted on the helm, wash it off at the end of the match.
Ooh. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah. And also, you can that way. If a tourney doesn't like using numbers and they wanted to use like heraldry,
almost got taken. His hands on the ground. His hands on the ground. He's down for sure.
Nope, he's up.
No, he's going down. The ref was going to down him.
So he
hit his friend in the arm there. So you could see that. Okay, they
pause it. Go back. Is this the guy?
Who breaks 3 halberds?
Round? You were talking about octopus leg. Watch.
No, octopus leg is a bit later.
He's doing a similar rap here and still holding himself up.
Tentacle leg was fucking insanity.
Yeah, so good. All right, yeah, but like.
Yeah, right there. Trying to do that leg hook and try to pull him down.
Look how far around he's almost wrapped the entire thing. I think
they have tentacles.
Is it the same guy? Do you know?
I don't believe it's the same guy. The other guy that I saw was on Partisan 1. This is Partisan 2.
So yeah, this is like I have no problem with this play. This play is great.
What? Takedown.
That's amazing.
Right here. Look at that.
Look at that. What?
Haragoshi. So he's tangled from behind and he
just
around.
Steps out.
Yeah.
How did he get the freedom to step out? Go back one more time. Oh, he didn't wrap up.
Yeah,
the NSK doesn't wrap up.
He isolates the arm.
Yep.
And he steps over and pivots and tries to kick out the knee. And he just somehow keeps his balance.
Because he's a fucking badass.
He goes to try to helmet pry. Takes that shot to the kidney. Doesn't give a shit.
He did give
Oh,
a
nice.
shit. Nice. He saved
Seo
it, though.
Inagi.
He did give a shit though. He gave up on the helmet pull.
Now we're 2-on-1.
He let go. Um,
So
and
now we see some attacking
now
the arm.
now he's hunting the arm, and this is the first time I've seen someone consistently hunt the arm. I'm glad to see this coming up. This is what I believe is the way forward. But now he gave up. I wonder why he gives up. They took him down. Maybe he came up enough.
Just wrecking him.
He might have come up off enough on the rail anyway.
So in defense of Chris Wilkins' statement, like this did almost go to time.
Yeah.
So I'll give you that.
Also,
that it almost went to time, but that's also because you're operating at a high level where everyone has very good wrestling, and one takedown leads to like a collapse like a house of cards.
Also, wait, but like let's pause. Pause in the conversation, but not necessarily in the thing. Like, is it necessarily bad if it goes to time? If it goes to time and there's one takedown consistently, I think that means you have a bad rule set. But if occasionally you have fights that go to time and one person and like it's 3 people have been taken down, is that really that bad, right? Like, do we really need to go every time to wiping out the whole team? Is that really necessarily
well, that's kind of the discussion we've been having back and forth for a while, is like, what do people want to see? And it's like, what should people want to see, right? Because if your argument is that from a spectator's perspective, it should always be like explosions, constant action, people getting taken down every second, then it's like, that's not doing justice to the skills of individual fighters. Because if you're a world level fighter, you're not going to go down every 2 seconds. Right. So it's like, what are you expecting to see when you see people fighting? Do you want to see good fighting with good technique, or do you want to see like a bunch of noobs run into each other and all fall down in 20 seconds? So it's like
both.
Well, you do see both.
But I think this was a perfect example.
That's what I'm saying.
I think this was a perfect example.
That's what I'm saying. Is you saw everything in that fight.
But right. The real question though is, does it look even better without rail grabbing? Or does it look even better if you build the rails in such a way that you can't grab them?
I have no problem with no rail grabbing, because as long as the rails are constructed in such a way that you cannot exploit it, or that there's no reffing around how you can interact with it.
Yeah,
my issue is ref involvement. It has nothing to do with the dynamism of the match or the wrestling or the advantages, because all that shit we can see gets clearly neutralized when people are actually willing to perform properly.
Your argument about ref involvement is very well taken.
Yeah, that's my number one.
IMCF has done a terrible job of writing the rule and enforcing the rule.
Well, I mean, look here. We haven't seen the refs do shit. They haven't had to be involved once.
Well, I mean, that guy probably should have been sat, but
he just fell over.
They were not gonna sit him.
They were totally gonna. They
were not gonna sit him.
The ref came over and
the ref did not come anywhere near him.
They were totally gonna sit him.
You fucking HMB stan. Get out of here.
No.
You stan.
No. He's totally gonna.
Oh, what?
Oh, nice.
That is sick.
I saw a lot of good leg kicks in this tournament.
Yeah. There's just.
I saw a lot of good leg stuff. I think leg kicking is like a thing.
I think it's going to become. I think we're going to see a lot more kicking in general coming out.
Kicks are we see a decent amount of kicking in this tournament.
And I think we're going to see polearms start to become more of the meta in the Eastern Sphere based on what we're seeing here. Polearms and short axes. It's interesting that we are seeing one-handed axes. I'm
telling you, man, it's the one-handed axe meta, because it's so much better for wrestling, because in HMB you can't grab the blade of your falchion. So you can't
that's
do
why.
That. Yeah.
It's because they made half sorting illegal because they're dumb. Got it.
It's one of the things now. Yeah.
It's because they made half sorting illegal because they're idiots.
But also axes hurt more.
They might.
They do. It's because of the point of impact.
Any sport is hairpin decision making and tiny mistakes. Huge blah blah blah. High level metas are sometimes boring because there's also a heavy lifting thought process. Yeah, but like to the point that it's high level metas are boring. Like, you can change the game to make it so they're not. And that's what you see in esports, when they change the game when a certain meta becomes too predictable or too boring for the players.
Well, we had that conversation a couple weeks ago where I was like, how do you structure rules? Do you make rules for the top of the pack or do you make rules for the middle of the pack? And you argued that you should make rules for the middle. I said you should make rules around the top.
It depends on the time, right? At the moment, we should be making rules at the middle.
And he stays up, and he stays up,
How?
and he stays up,
How?
and he stays up.
Who was that?
Look at the hip kick, but damn!
Number 7.
The guy should have grabbed him.
Go back to the fucking things. I want to know who that is. Go back to the fucking card.
Nikolai Sotov.
What the fuck? Badass. Just a badass. Everyone here is badasses. Let's be real. Lost Valkyrie. What do you think of dynamic versus static balance of fight? I don't know what the fuck that means.
I think the idea behind that comment is like, do you want to see people running around or do you want to see people grinding on the rail? And I think leave that up to individual teams to come up with their own strategy.
Yeah, but like if a rule is going to prioritize one or the other, you should prioritize running around because it looks better than grinding. Because it looks better than grinding, and
but do you want good fighting? It's or not good fighting.
That good fighting isn't a thing. That's not a thing.
But in the sense that, do you want fighters to have all of the options? Or as many options as possible. The more you remove options,
that's not what you should be thinking about. You should be thinking, oh, this is so good. You like if you have to make a rule that prioritizes running versus grinding, which like first off, you should not make rules whenever you can help it. Try not to make rules.
Definitely what I'm saying.
Try not to make rules. I'm with you on that. But if you have to make a rule, your priority should be for action.
Oh yeah.
There it is. There's the arm hunting.
Pull him off. Yep.
There's the arm hunting that I just hadn't seen. Like
they do it.
They're doing it way more. I watched Bohurt Prime. They would hit like twice and give up.
Oh. Guys all look like and like what I really like is the other team is like ready. They're in their helmets and they're ready. So it's like they're gonna cycle out and cycle in. There's virtually no downtime between matches.
I mean, that's
look at this guy just fucking tee off.
Yes, this is perfect. This is good.
And
now you switch into the grapple.
At the footwork. Remember I call out the footwork where they're coming up off their heels.
Oh, what? How did he step out of that?
Oh. See, look how he's coming up off his heel when he's throwing.
No.
Oh, yeah, nice takedown.
I did not see that.
And 4-1, brutal.
They took his weapon too. Oh yeah, this is just some fucking. This is definitely much better fighting than we saw at Prime, in my opinion. And that's what one of the guys are talking about. Is like, Chris is like in Prime. He saw a fight go 4-4, 4-4, 4-3. Like that's
okay.
Yeah, like that's too much. You should, no fight should go 3 rounds of draws with one fighter going down. That is not enough. Then your rule set's too defensive. Then your rule set is too defensive, and you need to change it.
That might not be a problem with rules, because we see the same rules are in play here. So it might not be a problem with rules. That could just be a problem with team strategy. It could be a problem with weapon selection.
Let's talk about the weapon selection, because at the time you could grab your falchion. So
I don't know if you could.
In Prime, you definitely could. That's a very new rule. It's a very
just
new
looking
rule.
At the team structure here. Alexander Semin. Okay, watch number 11.
Yeah.
All right. Number 11 is the longsword guy. So we've been talking about longsword and melee. Watch number 11.
I watched a few rounds of him, and nothing he did impressed me. But I did not watch the whole tournament.
I'm just saying, just watch him.
Yeah, maybe something good will happen.
It's just conceptually interesting.
It is
right?
very, and like
I hope he also has the buckler. So like, imagine you get in that situation, you could just drop the thing and pull out your sidearm, and now you're still like buckler and.
I want to be wrong about this, and I hope they change the rule about grabbing weapons back, because that would make the longsword. I want you to be right. I want you to be right.
I want to be right about it so bad.
There's been no touching of blades since it started. No, in 2015. No, that's
what I thought too. They've always had that rule where you can't grab your blade.
People constantly grab their blades. You can definitely see people constantly grabbing their blade and rocking people back. You can't grab your opponent's
not
blade.
Not in HMB.
You can't grab your opponent's blade. You couldn't grab your opponent's blade.
Yeah, you can never grab your opponent's blade.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you could never grab your own either. I could be wrong. I'm willing to. I want to be wrong. I always want to be wrong because it means I learn. Look at their setup. Let's just talk about their setup for a second. Like, this is sick. Their setup is sick. Their camera work is sick. Like, we see everything.
Their camera work could be a little better, but
they could be more static, but their camera work has been really sick.
Their camera work is better than what we saw at Carnage. I'll agree with that. But I think Carnage was like, that was the first time that team had been put together in their defense.
I don't know if I agree with you, Mikey. I think HMB arguably has the better rule set.
Yeah, because you're an HMB stan. We've gone over this.
No, I'm not. It just has to do with ref interaction.
That's not a rule set thing. That's a ref.
Absolutely a rule set thing.
That's a ref training thing.
But that's a rule thing too.
No,
because the rule. Oh, look at that takedown on the far side.
That was sick.
There he is, longsword, bam, in the distance.
Yeah, and it's doing not like. Literally nothing. No one is even noticing.
Maybe it's doing stuff. Maybe it's doing stuff.
They're not noticing it.
It could be doing stuff.
They aren't noticing it at all.
It could be. I want to believe.
I want to believe.
Look, he's trying to block those shots. It means they're
he was accidentally blocking those shots as part of his grapple. Look, he's just
hunting
eating
He's hunting the arm. He's hunting the elbow. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
You could have hunted the elbow with any weapon there.
Yes, you can. He doesn't have a sidearm. That kind of bums me out because he has the buckler. So I would be like, have to be able to drop the longsword to grab the one-handed weapon in a shitty grapple.
Yeah. I think that'd be a great use of that. But
yeah. It's like, so I think HMB has the better rule set in general because people have more freedom, and I think more freedom in terms of their ability to execute techniques gives you a deeper library from which to build your strategy. Now, I would agree that IMCF has better weapon regulations in terms of safety and minimum weight and stuff. So I would agree there. And I would agree that IMCF not having an AC makes it more accessible and can make it like easier for participants to go and not have to deal with bullshit. But ultimately, like, I think the more competitive rule set is the HMB rules.
So like, what do you mean by competitive? As in, like,
it promotes the greatest level of competition because it leaves fighters with the greatest amount of options.
The greatest amount of options doesn't necessarily. So, like, if we allowed guns,
I'm not saying it,
no, stop. Hold on.
Does. That's not my
you
argument.
Did say that. You did say that.
Don't straw man my argument. I'm saying in this instance. I'm not.
Why?
Putting it across the board.
Why in this instance then? Why in this instance?
Why in this instance?
Yeah.
Because I think that grappling is an essential part of our sport. I think if the
you
list
still
is
have
going to be present,
go back.
Go back.
Watch the shield punch.
Where are we looking?
Right, sort of over this hat marshal's head.
Hat marshal.
Yeah, see the marshal with the hat?
Yep, hat marshal.
Like, this guy's gonna get punched in the face and just like fall right back on his heels. Look at that!
Oh yeah, you saw his helmet get like twisted on his face too.
Anyway, go back to your point. I'm sorry. That was just a great fucking punch.
No. I have to try to remember what I was saying.
I'll prompt you again. Why in this instance is rail grabbing allow for more competitive fighting?
Why does rail grabbing in and of itself allow for more competitive?
Yeah, like, that's what we're really talking about.
Outside of like ref stuff, right? We're talking like specifically allowing rail.
We're assuming good refs who actually call it correctly.
Okay. I think because it just gives you more diversity in terms of your ability to grapple. It gives you better defense structurally. It gives you just as many options for attack as it does for defense. And it allows you to execute a wider array of techniques that would otherwise not be available in the Booherd environment.
Is it not true that it also makes a number of techniques essentially useless on the rail?
So I think that there's a fair argument for not having rail.
He's totally grabbing his sword there.
Where? Let's go back.
This, like, look at him. He's clearly grabbing his sword.
He's grabbing his hand. He's not touching his blade.
What is his left hand on? What is 12's left hand on?
His handle. Look, it's under the key on.
Oh shit, he just has a giant ass handle.
That's the secret,
Wild.
bro. It's the secret, bro.
All right, keep going.
Look at that. Nice. That was nice leverage too.
Yeah.
I would really like to see him with a sidearm. I think that would.
This is a different fighter
It's a different. Yeah, it's a different dude. But I
doing
would
the
really like to
longsword.
see him with a
You
sidearm.
know what the other
Oh,
thing is?
look at that.
Oh, that was the
looked
back
like it
of
was
the
to
knee.
back of the knee.
That was-
Jesus Christ.
So this is my point about HMB marshals not interfering. Sometimes they just don't interfere.
That's fine. Less ref involvement is the best.
Hey, stabbed him in the face. Don't call anything.
Whatever.
So here's what I think they're missing out on. I don't think those longswords are heavy enough. I don't think you need
Gotta
to go
have the 3 kg longsword.
I don't think you necessarily need to go for a full fucking Machowski chopper or anything, but those don't really look like fucking heavy. And I think they need to
You
be.
need the Bam Bam longsword.
I think you do.
That's what I was always saying. Is I think two-handed falchion is bad. I think
I
it's
agree.
bad. I've been wanting to put up a controversial Facebook post that says two-handed falchion is bad and your team loses if you use one, even if you win.
Do it. Do it. I support this.
But I think it's bad because you don't have the advantage to longsword. The specific advantages that he mentioned in the Max Young interview were okay, hold on. Okay, bro.
What? Who are we
Look at this.
watching?
Number
Oh,
75. bro.
fuck.
Number 75, bro.
Fuck.
Oh, bro, it's gonna happen. Also, you have like the Igor Alliance.
The
Yeah, you have the Igor Alliance. But bro, number 75, bro.
Poland disagrees. What does Poland disagree with, Lance? Alex mentioned diversity in the bowherd environment. What are your thoughts about diversity in different techniques and fighters in bowherd? I don't. What are your thoughts about diversity in different techniques in fighting and fighters in bowherd? What? I don't know. Always start. Oh, Poland loves the
Poland can disagree. They're still bad.
Have you guys beat Poland yet?
If you use a two-handed falchion, you are bad, and your team loses, even if you win.
All right, I'm in. I'm back in.
That's what I'm saying. Like you're using a two-handed falchion. You just happen to be slightly better than all of the bad people you're fighting. You're still bad. Like you beat me, I'm bad. I'm not saying I'm the best. I'm not saying that I'm the best. You beat me with it. Like if you beat me with a two-handed falchion, I'm fucking bad.
Oh, somehow I need to bring a two-handed falchion into our saber fight.
You can. Why not? Let's just do it. Like you fuck weapon restrictions. Just whatever at this point. Let's both wield two-handed falchions.
Let's
dual wield them.
Yeah, I was gonna say one in each hand.
No, but our fight is matched weapons, Mikey, because we want to be better than each other.
Yeah, and it's more fun. Sabers are fucking fun.
Yeah, man.
I think I'm gonna get a second saber because I don't know if I like mine.
When my saber is fucking sick, I'm really excited to get it.
Yeah.
There he is in the middle, bro.
What do you feel about
open tabard?
Does a Dusak count as a saber? Can I use my Dusak too?
Show me it.
All right. It's at the
guys.
hall.
Grizlov is in the center.
Oh,
guys.
what the fuck happened to it? What happened to that dude's helm?
Which dude?
Bearpaw is like shaking his face. Go back. Right here. Oh, he got stabbed. Look at this.
Oh, this is yeah. Oh.
It looks like he's fine though.
He's like, I'm all right. Don't worry, guys. Everybody's like, chill.
Yeah.
It's all right. We're all chill. Everybody keep fighting. Whatever.
Yeah.
So I really like this position that you see very often out of like high level Bern fighters. It's the guard position. Like you see, if you look on the right side, how the guy is behind his buddy who's wrestling on the list. He's not standing beside him. He's posting him so he can't get pushed over, and he's defending and throwing shots around him.
Usually,
I really like that position.
Usually, what you see from that though is that they do a very good defense. Marshall just ate a fucking
saw that?
Foot. Yeah. So that guy is usually blocking for the guy in front of him. I didn't see him doing this time. He kind of just let his boy get eaten.
Well, I think he just got stabbed in the face first. So I think that was kind of the issue there. Go Grizlov. There he goes. He runs off to this. Why are you not showing the whole field? Yeah. Oh, somebody went down. We don't know what happened. I am sad now.
Yeah, this is why I like their camera work is better.
Oh, and he goes down.
But it's still not great.
The red team veered. I think that's how you pronounce their name, Tveerd.
Yeah.
It's they do pretty well this this event.
All right.
Oh, oh, number 69, my man.
Nice. All right.
So
Let's call it after this.
Sure.
I have a blog post I need to fucking write.
Man.
I'm gonna pause this. Let's watch this. Let's just keep watching this forever.
There's 6 hours of fighting.
There's so much good fighting in there.
It's a real good tournament. And then there's the day 2 also.
Yeah, so just overall, so I guess I'm gonna go back and look to see that I was wrong about HMB. I'm sure I am at this point, if both you and Land are saying I am about grabbing the blade. I can't believe that. I swear
that's my understanding.
No, also if both you and Land are saying it, like, that's two people who pay way more attention to HMB than I do. So, like,
fair.
The fact that one of you might be wrong, I could buy. I'm way less certain. You are.
That's always been my understanding.
But yeah, so I swear I've watched a bunch of people fucking rank, and maybe this comes back to the ref involvement. HMB refs in general are less involved, and I wonder how much of that is, how they're told to.
I think it's better. I think less ref involvement is better. I think more options is better.
I agree.
I could even, you know what? I'll even step all the way back from rail grabbing. And I'll say that rail grabbing is just as good as no rail grabbing, as long as the no rail grabbing environment is an environment in which it is not possible to grab the rail, or that the manner in which you can grab the rail is limited and therefore no longer adjudicated. So like the tabletop idea that we were talking about, or like super high rails, or
I'm honestly still fine with adjudication as long as you get MMA level refs. Like UFC, you need refs who are calling it the same way UFC call cage grabbing. Otherwise, I don't want it. Otherwise, don't call it.
You need to see people sat. You need to see people sat like immediately so that fighters don't do it, right? Because if there's a punishment for it, that's immediate.
I disagree.
You're not going to do it.
I disagree. Because again, with cage grabbing, you don't sit immediately. You don't punish someone immediately when they grab the cage in the UFC.
No, you warn them.
Yes.
But the problem in our sport is that it's too late.
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think
because you're like this, you've already defended the takedown that otherwise would have taken you down.
Which is sometimes like the rail. The cage grab. You see people grab and pull themselves out of things. Like,
yeah,
it still happens.
That's why I always think
regardless
punished immediately.
I don't think you should. But regardless, this is where we differ. I think you can still have. But we both agree the current ref adjudication is bad. The current rule is written bad. And I think
the crux of it.
I think we also
the rule is bad.
I think we also agree that the best solution is a list solution as opposed to a rule solution.
Yep.
I'm
100% with you on if there's a way to construct the rail in which your ability to grab is limited and no longer needs adjudication, I'm 100% on board with no list grabbing. But until that point, like, you have to allow it because the amount of fucked up reffing is ridiculous, and the difference in reffing between events is not consistent, and the difference in reffing between matches isn't consistent.
No.
So it just leads to like a ton of stupid interactions that in this case we haven't seen the ref stop anybody for anything.
Yeah, which is not necessarily great when someone got kicked right in the back of the knee in front of us.
That's bad. That's bad. I agree. But in terms of the flow of the match,
I agree.
In terms of the flow of the match, we didn't see anything isolated.
Yeah, no, overall pretty good. And the fighting was top tier.
Here's a question. In our pro fight, what are the rules with the rail?
I think that depends on where we're gonna fight.
Where are we fighting?
I don't know yet. I mean, you originally you said you wanted to fucking host, but I think you've backed. All right, so if you want to find a place and you want to host,
I have a place.
All right, so I'm fine with that.
Because you wanted to host at the cage. If you don't want to host at the cage or you can't, then we can. I'm just saying, if you don't or you can't, then I'm down.
I mean,
I have no problem.
I want to do less personal work.
Right. You told me you were going to offload the work to somebody else.
So if you want to set up the thing, that makes my life easier. If I have to
travel,
traveling is less work for me. I just get in my car and drive.
That's fine. If you're down,
sorry. I want to do less organizational work. Let me.
That's fine. Like I'm already organizing my side of shit in the
Yeah.
sense that like we said like we
Yeah.
want to do a card, we want to try
Perfect.
10 fights.
Perfect.
I already put up a post a couple days ago. I have like half the card filled out for my side.
Perfect.
So
Like if I'm perfectly willing to come to you and perfectly willing to try and find people to come to you.
I'm the same. So we can worry about that as like
Yeah.
we start to progress and Canada has an idea of how it's gonna
Yeah.
like get its shit
I
together.
mean, that's kind of the other thing is right. Like you guys might be allowed to come to America, and America might not be allowed to go there.
That's a thing. So we're gonna have to see how things evolve. But ultimately, I have zero compunction about organizing the thing. So if you decide for whatever reason that you would prefer I organize it,
I
I'm down.
I do
I'm,
prefer that.
I already told you I'm down.
I
Like at the
100%
beginning.
prefer that.
You're the one who initially said you wanted to do it at
No.
the Knights Hall.
I said the Knights Hall existed as a place.
Is the
that we
Knights
could
Hall?
do it.
I mean, structurally, it's probably better in terms of spectators.
So here's
promotion.
here's the one reason I wouldn't want to do it.
But
at
it
the Knights
doesn't
Hall.
belong to either of us.
No.
So
Well, see, yeah, we have to go through Jay, and we have to find
Exactly.
we have to
We'll
find
get
we have to
permission.
find a place in his schedule. He already has a very full schedule. The reason I don't want to do it at the hall is the hall when it does night fights cuts the ring into this channel, so it's like maybe
Why?
10 feet.
it's our rules.
Yeah,
Our
but
event.
that's the way they're gonna do it. If we fight
Oh,
there,
really?
they're gonna make it. They're gonna put their tech. So we're gonna have our audience in one space.
We're not just
They're-
gonna have the same ring
the
we use
tech-
for melee.
So they cut it in half, and tech gets half of it.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's.
You want that whole? You want?
I
like,
want that
a
whole
good-
ring.
It's
that-
perfect size.
That exactly. That ring feels perfect to pro fights for me and night fights, but we cut it in half. So
Pillars are gonna make everything fucked.
So it's like this weird channel, and you can't really circle. Like you can,
Yeah.
but it sucks.
No, I much prefer like I would love it if we can like footwork and like fight and there can be
Yeah.
like I would love like in my head I would really love it if the fight was like back and forth and there's like your footwork and my footwork and we're swinging and there's grappling and there's like everything. I would
Yeah.
really like that.
That's
I would
that's what I'm.
I- I hope it doesn't become like a version of our longsword fight where I smash you, where you just try to like use relentless forward pressure, and now I'm so much better I can just destroy you with superior footwork and strategy.
All right.
So I'm hoping that that's not going to be it. I would really like to like sword fight you, but
I mean,
we'll
like,
see
I really
how-
don't want to sword fight you.
That's good. That's good. That means I can remain confident in my ability to box you.
All right.
But,
I have.
but yeah. So I mean, are you down with rail grabbing? How does that work in our fight?
I'm fine with it. The way that we've done it in at night fights is the ref just kind of warns you if you're fucking super hooking.
Okay, I'm open with that.
And like so the way night fights, I'll send you the rules, but basically the way that night fights work is the ref gets a lot of leeway in warning you when he feels like you're being inactive or like if you're doing illegal things, and he can just warn you until he feels like you've been too much of a dick, and then he goes over to the points counters and says take a point off.
Okay.
I
understand.
So kind of similar. I tried to make it when I got control of the rules. I tried to make it as close to UFC as possible.
Sweet.
20
seconds of ground fighting, right?
Yeah,
We're gonna try to like get the jits on. Well, I mean, that was what we were saying, right?
All right, I'm in for 20 seconds.
No, are you down, like, because our whole thing was 7 seconds. You're not gonna have. We should test it individually on
Let's
our
do
side
it.
and
Sure.
come back with thoughts.
I'm in
because like neither of us done it.
Yeah,
we're talking rules that we don't really know. So
yeah, let's try it. Let's try it at 7, and let's try it at 20, and sort of
see what the difference is.
Yeah.
See if you just like lie there and you get smashed for an additional 13 seconds, and you're like, oh my god, nothing works. I can't move.
But like, imagine a sweep in armor. A sweep in armor would look
that's what
so
I'm thinking
cool.
too, bro. That's what I'm thinking too, bro.
All right, I gotta write this fucking article that I've been trying to write forever. Thank you for being on. Thank you, chat. This was great. Felt like having a lot of interactions. Thank you, Chris, for fucking helping me put this together.
Yeah, it looks great. I love it.
Thank you, other Chris, for subbing. I don't know if anyone followed, but if you did, if you follow, subscribed, thank you so much. Please do the follow-y thing so that you see when I go live, because I'm really bad at posting about these. And follow Alex's channel on YouTube, maybe on Twitch. Are you on Twitch now?
I am now on Twitch.
Follow his channel on Twitch.
Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Bear Blackspear. Come find me.
Sweet. All right, we out. Peace, y'all.